You're probably wondering how a medical doctor like me ever got involved in this kind of ministry. I've had a very unexpected career path. When I graduated, I became an anesthetist. Yes, a sleep doctor. I wanted to put people to sleep. Many people wondered why I would want to become an anesthetist. It's a rather obscure specialty. No one grows up saying, "Mommy, I want to become an anesthetist when I grow up." It's not a cool specialty. It doesn't have its own TV show. You can imagine how exciting a TV show about an anesthetist would be. I mean, it would be rather sleepy. But as a Christian, naturally, I wanted God's will for my life when I was picking a career, and I discovered that anesthesia is the most godly of all medical specialties. Now, you may find that surprising, but it's pretty clear in the Bible. What was God's first medical act? He put Adam to sleep. Well, that tells me it was God's first and favorite medical activity. The other reason that confirmed it was the right specialty for me was that anesthesia is the most like being in the ministry. We both do the same thing. I loved anesthesia for so many reasons. You have complete control of all the vital signs in a patient. And the patients are all obedient. They go to sleep when I tell them to. All the medicines work immediately. But best of all, you don't have to listen to anyone for more than 10 seconds. When the syringe is empty, everyone is quiet. But I worked in a small hospital that only did surgery in the mornings. In the afternoons, we all had to be family doctors. Well, this was very awkward for me because in general practice, no one does what they're told. The medications take weeks to work if anyone actually takes them, and you have to listen to people for more than 10 seconds. After 10 seconds, I would drift, unless, of course, they were having trouble sleeping. Then I knew I could help. But the biggest surprise to me in general practice was that people came to see me with a different kind of pain that I knew nothing about. I didn't know there were two kinds of pain, physical and emotional. And emotional pain is far more common, more severe, more prolonged, and harder to treat than physical pain. I didn't know anything about emotional problems because at the school I went to, you had to have a personality extraction to graduate. They trained us to become machines fixing machines. Emotions just got in the way. But what was most surprising to me was the number of Christians who came to see me with emotional problems. I didn't know Christians had emotional problems. In the Christian culture I grew up in, everyone was walking in victory all the time. No one had emotional problems. And I asked the Christians why they were coming to see me rather than someone in their church. They often said, "I'm too embarrassed to admit I'm having trouble with my emotions since I'm the only one. Everyone else is walking in victory." And I heard this so often, I just told them to have a seat in my waiting room and they'd see the rest of their church coming in for the same reason. Others said they tried to talk to someone at church, but they were told to read the Bible and pray more. They didn't know what to pray or where to read. One lady actually said, "The church can't help me, so I'm stuck with you." I felt so sorry for all the Christians who didn't know where to turn for help, so I started treating depression, anxiety, and bipolar disorder. The results were so good that people came from all over Canada, and it took over my life. And I started a mental health clinic, which I ran for 25 years. A few years later, I admitted one of my patients to hospital for depression. On one of my daily visits, her eyes glazed over and a voice came out of her saying, "Leave her alone, she's ours." Well, what do you do with that? I was raised in the church, so I didn't know anything about demons. So I had to learn about spiritual authority and spiritual warfare as part of my treatment program. And a few years later, Kathy and I had a marriage crisis, and we both fell apart. We had to go and see a counselor, and he taught us something I had never heard before. That God wants us to be more than saved. He wants us to be saved and transformed. And transformation involves having our hearts healed by removing all the emotional baggage that we were carrying that we had brought into the marriage. So we walked through a journey of healing of our hearts using prayer ministry, and that saved our marriage. So now I understood that emotional healing can involve medical treatment for a mood disorder, spiritual warfare, and prayer ministry for the heart, and it fit the body, spirit, and soul description of humans in the Bible. So we began to teach this healing model in churches, and our ministry was born. And over the years, we've learned many tools to accelerate this healing journey, and that's what we'll be sharing with you in the Free Your Mind online video program. Through weekly videos, online support, and lots of reflection times with God, you'll be able to walk through the healing journey at your own speed and listen to God teach you about yourself along the way. Just click on the link on this page to enroll. I'm looking forward to working with you. And in the next video, you'll learn how to assess yourself for depression, anxiety, and mood swings. And I'll see you then.